This is Liquor and Wolves. Liquor and Wolves. Secrets and dope and music and reactions. Liquor and Wolves. I said liquor and wolves. Liquor and wolves. Liquor and wolves. Liquor and wolves. Secrets and dope and a German talking bullshit. Liquor and wolves. Fuck. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. And we're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world. How are we doing tonight? This is Liquor and Wolves. I'm Rob, and you guys are the coolest for being here. Thank you very much. You guys are not only the coolest for being here, you guys are also the coolest for having fed me new suggestions that I, in sort of a call to action, asked for 2 days ago, I think. Doesn't matter. A lot of cool suggestions came in with a lot of exactly what I was kind of asking for, which was give me some backstory, as in, without spoiling it, let me know why so-and-so would be great for me to react to and why you think I should. And that happened a bunch, and we're going to look into it. And today is going to be a falling in reverse day. I'm not going to do the random number generator for the ones that were entered those 2 days ago, and, you know, just continuously feed the list until we get to a pile that I can never climb. So I'm sort of shutting down suggestions for it. Yes, please do keep them coming, but they're not going to make it onto the list as of now until I've actually worked it, you know, all the way off, because it'd be unfair to those that have suggested things. But today is going to be a reaction day to the ones that came after my call to action. And the one and only Karen Taylor hopped in. Karen is OG on the channel. Shouts to Karen again. She was she has been there a while. She's always coming in with the positivity and the, you know, the good vibes and constructive content, constructive criticism if it's needed. Everything about her is exemplary for this community of people that are, you know, lurking around my channel. You guys are amazing. And here's what Karen had to say. She says, "Hey, how are you? You've been working on a list." That's true. So thank you. Falling in Reverse's fans would love, heart, for you to do for you to add "The Drug in Me Is You" original video first, and then in the same video, "The Drug in Me Is You" reimagined. That's a great suggestion, because I've done that once before when Ren's Money Game Part 2 came out. What I did was, in the reaction to that Part 2, I recapped 1 and just let it ring through just to bring it back to front and have it, you know, in the back of our heads as we go into Part 2. And that was something that really made sense, because it offers the opportunity to reference things that happened here and are now being picked up again here. And she continues to say, then in another video, "I'm Not a Vampire" official, and the same video, "I'm Not a Vampire" revamped, which is funny, play on words here. "Your face will be priceless." Both are the same lyrics, but 10 years basically from each other being out. They're from a younger Ronnie using humor to talk about his struggle with addiction, and then a more mature Ronnie doing the same, but really bringing out raw depth and emotion to the lyrics and showing what an incredible vocalist he truly is. Dying to see these reactions. Thousands of others have done it the same. I hope to see you do these. Thank you. Yes, I think that will have to be done. And we'll do the first one that pops up in here, which was "The Drug in Me Is You." And by the way, this comment of Karen's was then seconded intensely by a poster named Kate. Thanks, Kate, for being there and for actually doing. I'm going to second that comment about doing a double reaction to Falling in Reverse's remakes, the old versus the new. "The Drug in Me Is You" is a classic Falling in Reverse song, and "The Drug in Me Reimagined" is a fantastic song that really shows Ronnie's growth and more reflects the meaning of the lyrics, which Ronnie wrote in prison while looking in a mirror. Super interesting concept. "I'm Not a Vampire." We're not going to go into that. We'll read that comment once we go into said "I'm Not a Vampire." Thanks for doing this. You're a fantastic reactor and such a cool person. Thank you very much. Very bless you all. That's very kind of you to say. So that is what's going to be happening today. And I went ahead and searched for Falling in Reverse, "The Drug in Me Is You." We get one from 11 years ago with 104 million views. And we get Reimagined from 3 years ago with only 30 million views. But yes, that's an interesting idea, and that's exactly what we'll be doing. And we'll be doing it right after we have touched upon the point that today marks only another 383 days left in Liquor Exile. That middle
number is supposed to be a 3, but the fucking thing didn't come with just, it came with only one number of each. There isn't 2 3s in the set. So when I want to do 338, I have to use a E for a 3 because there is no more 3s in the goddamn sets. That's, I guess, artificial scarcity, right? Pretend like they're scarce. The 3s in particular are hard to find them, hard to grow them, hard to harvest them. And of course, what they want is for you to go out and buy 3 extra sets, so you can at one point create 333, which I will have to do in 5 days from now. That's gonna suck. I wonder how I'm gonna do that. But that's not the core of what this is. The core is still Liquor and Woes, even though I'm in Liquor exile for a year, and it's counting down towards 0. So what a thought of mine was, let's bridge the gap of this year with interesting drinks. There isn't a lot of interesting non-alcoholic drinks. For my personal view, I think that. I'm sure there's different opinions on it. But one thought I had day before yesterday was, let's only do juice and call it Juice World. And then somewhere in the back of my head is like, it's been done, and the dude's a rapper, and you can't use his name, Juice World. So what we'll do is, today anyway, we'll do just a good old regular energy that will remain nameless. Right. So I'm ready to go. Falling in Reverse have blown me away a total of 3 times now. The first one was Watch the World Burn. Fucking epic piece of music there. Fuck. That really, really pulled me into the whole world of theirs. And then I did Popular Monster, which I think wasn't as great, or I didn't love it as much as Watch the World Burn. And then I did, I forget the fucking title. But it was him rapping. It doesn't matter, because what we'll do today is The Drug in Me. That is You. Which, only judging the title of it, I think casts somewhat of a dark shadow onto, if we're talking about a relationship. If you state that the drug in you is your partner, of course it's trying to be a compliment and saying, I depend on you, I need you to live, I am hooked on you, you are the drug in me. But we all know at one point the drug is destroying the host, right? So it has a negative touch to it also, to put it in those words. I can't live without you, yes, but that's not being dependent on the intake of so-and-so, right? But let's hear what Ronnie has to say about it. Let's get into this. Wait, why is it skipped up to here? It's probably because it's been loading for a while. Stop. Oh, this is his Nicky 6 days, right? I said that in one of my reactions where he... Oh, yeah, that's the one I can't remember the title of. He just, he kills all his earlier versions of himself, or alter egos of himself, and one was dressed like Nicky Six from Motley Crue. And I was schooled in the comments that yes, at one point during the career he actually looked like it, and I think this could be it. So as always, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it ring a little bit and check my volume levels. You can see them here to the very far right hand side of the screen, and then once I am crystal clear that nothing is clipping, I will take you full screen. Are you ready? Let's roll. Why am I not hearing anything again? Rob, do a fucking tech check. Where did that fucking sound come from, and why am I not hearing anything no more? Here we go. Oh, this is muted.
I heard a knock upon my door the other day. I opened it to find her staring in my face. The feel of mortal stalking still reverberates. Everywhere I go, I drag this coffin just in case.
All right, we're starting this over, that's for damn sure. One thing, though, I will say is the audio production isn't as great as it was with everything else that we got from him. This may change, though, because everything within Falling in Reverse songs is never, you never ended how you started, right? There's going to be a lot of change and evolving throughout the track. It's again a big production video that was being shot here for this. I wonder where they always got, because this is 11 years ago. Where did they always get this fuck you money from? Because, or am I just completely off track when I'm still putting Epitaph in this DIY label world? And yes, Brett Gervitz is a millionaire these days, and fucking Fat Mike of Fat Records is a millionaire these days, but there's still grassroots DIY punk at the core, right? And where do you dig up, especially 10 years ago when it wasn't, you know, everything's digital and let's just do a 2-day green screen shoot and watch the world burn. This is 10 years ago and it wasn't that easy. And you did have to really dig deep to be able to come up and use fuck you money to create videos like this, right? I will probably never know. But yes, we're going from the top. And he said one line that I do remember, because I have this attention deficit thing. I can't do too many things at the same time. So when I'm checking levels, I can't really be listening in. But I did hear him say, I carry a coffin along just in case. All right, I might die any day or at any given time. Also, fair warning, I might leave full screen every now and then just to check the volumes, right? Because the song changes every goddamn time or every 5 seconds.
I heard a knock upon my door the other day. I opened it to find out staring in my face. The feel of mortal stalking still reverberates. Everywhere I go, I drag this coffin just in case.
The hair. Oh, fuck. I will out myself. Or I will out us, meaning me and my band. We have a song that we don't play anymore because we kind of stepped away from the message it has. It's called Anti-Emo, and we were at one point actually aggressively anti-emo. We just didn't like the scene and the way we were being treated by them. So we decided to say, fuck y'all, and treat them exactly the same. So there were things being said like how one should just throw a box of razor blades onto the main station, you know, of any city. There's a main station, train station, and in front of said main train station, you are going to find the emo kids sitting around with their, you know, being sad. And the idea of the song was just give every train station in Germany a box of razor blades, and whenever you see these gatherings, just throw them a couple of razor blades and the problem will take care of itself. I realize it is fucking dumb and not even funny. It was intended to be funny. Nothing about it is funny. But this is the looks of the people in this video is what would have triggered us back then to switch into evil mode. I apologize. I don't even know why I'm sharing this. Why not? Let's be open about it. And I do realize it was dumb to have done so. And we have changed and the song's not being played anymore.
Tremble as it shivers down my spine. Adrenaline kicks and shifts into overdrive.
Okay, I guess this is somewhat describing the effects of drugs in your system, right? Tingling down the spine and everything. Of course, it makes sense in the context of the concept being the drug in me is you. Video-wise, why were we in this super pinkish cheerleader squad chick's room and he hops out? It was completely mute. Maybe something was being said that, you know, the PMRC had to censor. Why? I don't know. Because I think the dude wouldn't be one, Ronnie, wouldn't be one to hook up with a chick like it, right? In this pink world and everything's Barbie and everything is just, you know, just on the outside and just about looks. It doesn't matter. Let's go.
Down my spine. Adrenaline kicks and shifts into overdrive. Your secrets keep you sick, your lies keep you alive.
Your secrets keep you sick and your lies keep you alive. That's true. That's an addiction phenomenon. I can sing a song about it.
Every single time you roll with crooked dice, laugh out the darkness as you try to pull me down. The kind of dark that haunts 100-year-old house. I wrestle with my
sorry, the what? The kind of what that haunts a 100-year-old house?
Like you roll with crooked dice. Laugh from the darkness as you try to pull me down. The kind of dark that haunts a 100-year-old house.
Laugh at the darkness as it tries to pull me down. The kind of, let's see if we have lyrics in the comments or in the description. Doesn't look like it. Let's go. Yeah, here. This one. Your secrets keep you sick, your lies keep you alive. Snake eyes every single time you roll in with crooked dice. True. I left the darkness. I felt the darkness as it tried to pull me down. I understood laughed at, but he says, I felt the darkness. I wrestle with my thoughts. No, the kind of dark that haunts a 100-year-old house. Right, that kind of dark. It's not just the absence of light. It is an emotion of being dark, right? Got it. I wrestle with my thoughts. I shook the hand of doubt. I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me now. Running from the past and I pray my feet don't fail me. Whoa, nice one.
I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me now.
I think I'm getting the concept of what somebody said, either Karen or Jade. I'm not sure who the person was that seconded that. One of them was saying how this older version of the song is really trying to mock the issue, and I think how that's being done is the video layer of it, right? The visual we get. It seems like he's always smirking over his stuff and overacting it because he wants it to be goofy. Because the content itself of what he's given us is heavy shit. Let's make the visual layer a little lighter on, the target group's eyes at least, right? And give them eye candy in terms of the guys. I can a little bit see that too, because he is a good looking man. Shit, I mean, there's no denying it, right? I don't dig the cut, but hey.
Year-old house. I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me now. I've lost my goddamn mind.
Nice.
It happens all the time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume the drug in me is you. And I'm so high on misery, can't you see?
There was a lot being said in that chorus, and there was a lot to be seen in that chorus too. We're in a courtroom, and I have at least once, no twice, referenced the courtroom that was shown in Popular Monster. We cut over into a courtroom. Everybody in the fucking courtroom is dead, and Ronnie is sort of speaking his case. We're in a courtroom again here 11 years ago, and the entire jury board, everybody's female, and good-looking female as in attractive ladies. And he is, I guess, defending himself on the fact that he's obsessing with a woman because she is the drug in him. It's really not him doing this actively and being a stalker, but he is addicted, and there is no not doing that, I'm thinking. And the last line of the chorus was cool. Because like when I talk about these other aspects, I lose the train of thought I had originally. Let's do the chorus again. And this is now becoming clearer and clearer to me, I think, that the visual is trying to humorize the content itself. And I love the way the chorus was sung here, by the way. We get this carpet of harmonized vocals, either that were all done by him in the studio and then layered and stacked, or maybe by additional musicians who do backing vocals here for the chorus. These are the ladies I was talking about, the jury stand. This seems to be the attorney. She has something to say too. No, she is his lawyer. He is not happy with what she's saying, but let's do the chorus again.
Stop praying feet don't fail me now. I've lost my goddamn mind. It happens all the time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume the drug
drug in me is you, and I'm so high on misery, which is like a walking contradiction, right? To be high as in, replace that with, I am just super pumped, excited, feeling good. I am euphoric. But on something that is super, super bad, which is misery. So they're really, they are really counterparts of the same aspect of passion, right? Misery, yet being high on it. And he combines it and says, I can't believe I'm high on misery. Nice use of the lingo. The whole scarf thing, the Aerosmith fucking Tyler Perry, no, Joe Perry is the guitarist. What's his name? Steven Tyler. A look and feel here of how he's dressed. The whole scarf thing around the mic stand. That's probably no visual clue to anything, but really the style they rocked back then.
I got these questions always running through my head. So many things that I would like to understand. If we are born to die and we all die to live, then what's the point of
If we are born to die but we all die to live, then what's the consequence of that?
understand? If we are born to die and we all die to live, then what's the point of living life if it just contradicts?
Then what's the point of living? Because it's a contradiction, right? We know it's gonna end, but we aspire for it to never end, and there is no solution to be found how to make your wish come true in terms of, let's not end it. It's gonna happen, period. It will. So what's the point of it? Well, my take on it, the point of it is to enjoy the time you're given. But apparently when you're in misery throughout that whole time, you do ask the question, why? Why am I doing this to myself when I know the outcome's going to be death? Huh.
I'm from the darkness as it tried to pull me down. The kind of dark that haunts 100-year-old house. I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me now. I've lost my goddamn mind.
I've lost it.
It happens all the time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume the drug in me is you, and I'm so high on misery. Can't you see?
I am high on it. Here's another aspect. Not only are they dual opposites, to be high and to be miserable, but also I can't believe I'm like, is that really the point? To, yes, be passionate and to love, but have that phenomenon be the thing that, physically hurts you, destroys you at one point? Very, very, very essential questions he's asking here. And I guess the answer to them are super, super individual. Because if you are happily in love, which I hate to tell y'all, but at one point it will end, in my experience anyway, then you're of course not asking it, because the high you're enjoying isn't misery. The high you're enjoying is the experience of love, and it's being returned, and it's not something painful to be in love. Yeah, but those are grand as existential questions almost. And I like how he's thrown them at us, but the visual world of the whole thing is thrown off, right? And that's probably what he wanted to achieve with it. Let's have the song itself be a contradiction too, right? Like the aspect of being high but miserable. Let's have the song be super deep and deal with dark material, but let's do the video for it kind of Blink-182 running through the street naked. It's not that extent of funny and mocking and, sort of B-movie quality to it, no. But I think that's something that could play a role in the creative process of deciding, let's do the video like this. It could have been him with the fucking razor blade I spoke earlier about, just sitting there and cutting himself over how bad everything is. But no, he decides to put it in a very entertaining music video. And if you had to sound low and just watch this, it would make sense for a Sum 41 Blink-182 song to be under it, right? As in happy punk, pop punk. Not dissing them either. I used to love them. But it's a definition of whether or not something goes deep, like Adam's song, Blink, yes, I'll admit, or not, or if it's shallow. That's what I'm saying. Let's go. I think we're going into a guitar solo.
So high on misery, can't you see?
Wonder, does anyone know, are all these session musicians that Ronnie calls in to help produce tracks? Or is it a standing band, as in these are the 4 members of Falling in Reverse? Because the dudes that play instruments here look a whole lot different than the ones we saw play in Watch the World Burn. Of course, this is 11 years ago, and they all changed, including Ronnie, big time. But I get the impression that they're different musicians, and the fact that the creative choice of never having them, full frontal in the video, as in let's have them play a major role in the entire thing too, implies that it's more studio or session musicians that come in for tours and production, right?
I'm lost myself. You tried to reach me, but you just can't help me. So long, goodbye. You try to save me, it won't work this time. 'Cause now.
Question, this bridge here, he is actively addressing his drug, being the person that's in his system. And he says, you have tried to help me out. How? How can the person that is being loved, either regardless of whether or not she answers said love or not, how can she influence or affect the dude that's madly in love with her? In this, let's be gender-wise specific here for a change and have man and woman. So he loves her, then says she has tried to help him out of his misery, which is him loving her. How? How does the one on the receiving end of love influence the lovee's state of mind? By deliberately being an asshole? That's one way, right? Stop loving me. If you don't stop it like on your own, I will make you stop it by being such a ass to you that at one point you will just ditch me because I am being an ass. Is that an active involvement in the situation that she could do or provide? Because what else, what kind of influence does the one that's being loved have over the one that loves? You will not be able to talk them out of it, right? Be like, hey, it makes no sense, or right? That doesn't change the feeling. The lovey is holding, right? You can only manipulate the way you act towards them by being an ass or by constantly saying there's no way, forget it, in brackets friend zone, or by moving completely out of the situation and say relocate, right? But I don't think there's more other ways to actively influence the situation. Let's hear it again. I think that's what he's getting at. And sorry, of course, this whole thing, the drug in me is you. If we take the picture further and not think that we're talking about a human being that is being loved and thereby in his veins, but an actual substance. And now him saying, you have tried to solve my misery. If we're talking about an addiction, a physical drug, how does, let's say, the pill or the weed or the whatever vice influence your addiction toward it. The bag of weed is not going to walk away from you. It's going to sit there and tempt you, right? It can't actively take itself out of the equation. It will be there. You yourself can influence the way of ability, delete all the phone numbers you have in your phone of people that used to tick for you. Or don't go places where consumption is happening so you don't expose yourself to it. You can do things about it, but the object of addiction or love can't actively influence, or won't, that's for damn sure, actively influence your addiction process. Just an additional thought. I know we're talking about a woman, but if we stay in this comparison world.
I've lost myself. You tried to reach me, but you just can't help
You've tried to reach me, but you just can't help.
me. So long, goodbye. You tried to save me, it won't work this time.
You tried to save me. It won't work this time. That confuses me a little bit. If he is addressing this entire thing toward the drug in him, talking in pictures or painting pictures, I'm pretty sure we're talking about a human being, and more specifically a woman that is in his system he loves and cannot stop loving, thereby needs more and more and more of her, which it paints a picture of, I'm addicted to you, you are in my system, the drug in me is you. How has she tried to help? That confuses me a little bit.
Now I've lost my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume. The drug in me is you, and I'm so high on misery. Can't you see?
Music-wise, just real quick, production of this song itself. Fucking flames. This is, again, a completely professional sound-wise. The approach to the sound of the end result we're getting here is legit. It has this depth and this vastness of it, especially the hooks. Sounds super, super crisp. And I did say this at the start of the video. I wasn't super happy with how it sounded. Totally relativized itself. I am now. I am super pumped about how it sounds. It is very, very, very epitaphy punk fatness approach to how they produced this. And it sounds amazing, especially with good headphones. Do yourself a favor and listen to this with good headphones and not through your cell phone speaker. If you have the opportunity, please check it out with good headphones. Alright. Huh? Why is everybody now confused and waking up from some sort of sleep, and the rest of the kit is still sitting there? They're all smoking. Is this the after sex cigarette? Did Ronnie? Did he mate with all of them? Is that what we're getting from it? Because he is so addicted. I'm reaching. But you see here behind the drum set, that lady is smoking. The one on the far left-hand side is smoking. Some of them are looking like they have lost a bunch of clothes, like the one second from the left behind the amp. She looks like she's in somewhat of a, lingerie sort of thingy. When all of them were dressed appropriately for a courtroom earlier. Did Ronnie screw his way through the entire courtroom? And it's an aspect of, if there's, let's stay with bags of weed. If there's 10 bags of weed laying there, and no one stops you, you will smoke it all away, right? This could be another element of, let's really just mock and sort of makes satire out of the content of the words in the visual layer. Okay, end frame band shot. I like that. Raised by Wolves from the debut album, The Drug in Me. Oh, it's actually the album title as well. And is this the cover of the actual album? We get Homecoming Queen in the locker. Huh. Yes, we're liking this. That's for damn sure. And I am very excited to go into the reimagined version of this right after this now, to see whether or not, yes, I was told by you guys, by Karen and, I'll look it up. Who was this person number 2 that commented on this? Jane. I think it's Jane. So Karen and Jane have said we get a deeper and more mature take on the entire thing with the version of it that is almost 10 years newer, so a whole lot more recent, of a more mature, more adult Ronnie. I'm super excited to see it. I will go into that right after a short piss break. TMI, Rob, TMI, do we all need to know? You do now, so I'll be back in 3, 2, 1, and we're back as promised. Yeah, interesting experience to be doing this, especially with the outlook of getting a second version of it by the same artist. That's always cool. I've never seen this done much. Artists taking a piece of work they have really, put in. At least we do this. Our band exists for 25 years now, and stuff from the very early days are locked away in a drawer somewhere and will never be touched again, like the emo thing that I spoke of earlier. But I love the thought of, going back through your catalog and thinking, hey, it's 10 years later, I've matured, I'm a different kind of person, let's tackle this one again and take it to the present. Right? I love that. I don't think many bands, there isn't many examples of where this was being done before. Or do I just not know them? Yeah, there's a bunch of Queen stuff that was then got a retake on by Freddie in solo stuff. Anyways, doesn't matter. We are going to go into Falling in Reverse. The Drug in Me is reimagined. Oh, so they actually manipulated the title too. It's not The Drug in Me is You in brackets reimagined. The Drug in Me is reimagined as a whole. Let's see if we get any more additional info here in the description. We do get the lyrics. That's nice. And they seem to be 1-to-1 identical. Yeah, that's... Where's the damn house here? The kind of dark that haunts a 100-year-old house. Yeah, it's the very, very exact same words that we're going to get. And like we did earlier, I am going to let it ring for a couple of seconds and then take y'all full screen. I'm ready to roll and I'm excited what the new approach to it is going to be. Funny note how this song is almost twice as long as the original. This is almost 6 minutes. And of course, videography, we can tell already, is going to be 100% different. Let's roll. I like the grading of these shots.
I heard a knock upon my door the other day. I opened it to find her staring in my face. The feel of mortal stalking still reverberates. Everywhere I go, I drag this coffin.
Just in case. Wow. It's a little bit like, do y'all remember the phenomenon of, big philharmonic orchestras tackling the body of work of big artists. I do remember they even toured with this thing, I think. It was the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra from London, and they took the entire album, The Wall, by Pink Floyd's, and of course rearranged it for, a grand orchestra, and then took that on world tour. And I think both of them, of course, just financially profited from it big time. But they took what was once a Pink Floyd song being played on instruments and with, techniques that Pink Floyd would have used or did use back then, and transcribe it to an 80-piece full orchestra. And the result was amazing. And here we get no guitar, we get no drums. We even physically see them here. This is a 4-piece Kammer orchestra. It's like chamber music. Him on the grand piano, and then 4 sitting people, super dressed in nothing but black, so they're in the background and play no big role. And doing the string instruments. And of course, song completely different, more of an opera-esque approach to it. That's where this whole philharmonic thought of mine came from. I love it. I dig it much.
I heard a knock upon my door the other day. I opened it to find her staring in my face. The feel of mortal stalking still reverberates. Everywhere I go, I drag this coffin, just in case.
And this, somebody sat down and arranged this for orchestra, and now in this case string, a group of strings to take from the original, which was heavy guitars. I'm not sure if it was power chords and sort of an inkling of this melody we're hearing played here by the piano, if that was a bit of a guitar string bit that was done in the original, or if that was really just power chords. Because if that was the case, the person that sat down and transcribed this punk rock song to be executed by an 80-piece orchestra, you have to add things, because what what comes in at the front is basically 3 things. It's a vocal melody, it's a first guitar, and a second guitar melody. The drum pattern and rhythm isn't something that you manipulate tone-wise. So he's playing a C. No, he's not playing a C, he's playing a bass drum, and the bass drum will always be a bass drum. You can manipulate the sound of it a little bit to an extent, and the depth of it and everything, but no. What the singer sings, what the lead guitar is playing note-wise, and what the rhythm guitar is playing chord-wise. Those are the 3 things that come in. And then the person that sits down to transpose this or transcribe this for a grand orchestra can't just go, all right, we need 1 violin, we need 1 bratsch, and we need 1, let's say, flute. No, he has to give stuff to the entire orchestra and make use of what he has, right? So they will have to add things. I'm pretty sure this melody bit here wasn't in the original. But all hats off to how they've done it. It's great.
My body's trembling, sends shivers down my spine. Adrenaline kicks and shifts into overdrive. Your secrets keep you sick, your lies keep you alive.
Fucking singing ability. There's no question my boy Ronnie is fucking great of a singer. Is a great of a fucking singer, isn't he? And you can say about him what you want. You can be Sebastian Bach hating on the fact that there's backing tracks. Fuck you. You just haven't gone with the time. I used to love Sebastian Bach to death. Skid Row was one of my bands with Guns N' Roses and everything. But the fact that you stand there and do this old school as, old white men complaining shit, it's because you haven't progressed. And the fact that you are, accusing the new school, or not even new school, yes, in your eyes maybe, but no, this is at the peak of time. This is being in the now, as opposed to reminiscent on everything and claiming that if you can't produce what you're doing throughout your own instruments, it isn't music, is just retro. And it's a sign that you haven't progressed with the time. That's not what I'm getting at, though. I'm getting at the fact that you can say about Ronnie whatever you want, but you cannot deny it that he is a fucking great singer, rapper, and arranger, composer, frontman, showman, actor, even in some of the things we've seen, you know, considering that he's not core competence actor. He is just great in all those things, and he entertains us with great content, period. And the second thing I was going to go at video-wise, this is, of course, the complete 180 turnaround from the visual concept of the first version we saw, right? That was Shiny Happy People. I'm thinking sort of, you know, contradicting the content of the song. I've talked about that. You've all heard it. Here, we get a visual representation of the hurt and the pain and the darkness and the sorrow and the depressing outlook on future that the song talks about. And we get it in a visual here too. That's why I said early at the start of this, I like the grading of this, everything. So color grading of a piece of film material is, I'm not saying equally as important, but almost as important as producing the shot we're talking about. The DOP has done a great job of capturing what's happening here on the scene. And then when the material goes into the editing floor, the last thing that happens is the color grading. And you have, so imagine Photoshop, you have extremes from 0 to 100, and let's say the little lever or the indicator is right center on 50. So you can take, it's RGB, it's CMYK, right? So it's cyan, magenta, yellow, and key being black. You can raise them all the way up and be very yellowish tinted, and the decision here, the creative precision decision here was to go with blue all the way up and black all the way up. We see no red. There's no green, no red, or no yellow in this, right? And that's always a color tinting decision to emphasize or to give more visual power to what you are trying to bring across. Suspense, usually very, very bluish as well. Passion, love, outburst, very yellowy, reddy. And fear, anger, angst is usually being tinted towards the black and the blue, and that's happening here. And I love it. It's a ballet, even very classical approach in music, and also visual here, with it being a ballet quartet that brings us some visual addition to what we're hearing.
Snake eyes every single time you roll with crooked eyes. I felt the darkness as it tried to pull me down. The kind of dark that haunts a 100-year-old house. I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me now. I lost my goddamn mind.
Nice.
It happens all the time.
So making use of the music theory entity of dynamic. Dynamic means, or it describes the range between the least is happening in the song and everything is on full blast in the song. And the more room or space you have in between those, the more dynamic the song is. So there's songs with very little dynamic that go like 1, 2, 3, 4, punk songs usually, like we do. The dynamic range from what there's nothing going on to everything's on full blast is very, 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 very small. And here it's vast, right? 100% of everything is playing, and playing at full volume and intensity. We haven't heard yet, but we have now. I think we are hearing the very, very left end of the scale, if you want, with this is where the least is going on. It's just Ronnie and the piano right now. There's no underlining strings anymore. It's just him and his voice. And then things are, of course, going to build up towards a climax. And when we reach there, I'm going to stop it again and say this is the other extreme of how much is going on, and that defines the dynamic of the song.
Time. I can't believe I'm trying to consume.
I like his voice a lot.
The drug in me is you.
Wow.
And I'm so high on misery. Can't you see?
Rising.
I've got these questions always running through my head.
This is the lady we saw in the cover artwork, isn't she? She looks a little bit like Avril Lavigne in Grown Up. I love how he sings this. He is amazingly good. He is an amazingly good vocalist.
I've got these questions always running through my head. So many things that I would like to understand. If we are born to die and we all die to live, then what's the point of living life if it just contradicts?
Yes.
I felt the darkness.
His delivery is also going up, up, up. If there's a drama curve that rises, he is giving it to us through how intensely he is singing the words, right? He is now almost, he means that shit that he's just saying, doesn't he?
As it tried to pull me down, the kind of dark that haunts 100-year-old house. I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me. I've lost my goddamn mind. It happens all the time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume. The drug in me is you, and I'm so high on misery. Can't you see?
New motive. This is, I think, where in the first version the guitar solo came in. And he's doing something different with it. I don't remember the actual chord or note progression and theme that we were given by the lead guitar in the first version. But I don't think he is just, replaying it on keys instead of strings. I think he's given it a different touch. Percussion.
I've lost myself. You tried to reach me, but you just can't help me.
This I still don't get. If we are entirely, if throughout the entire thing we are only addressing the source of addiction, the drug of his, the girl, how has she ever tried to make it better or to solve the situation? How is that possible? Or is he now addressing someone else, like a God entity, when he says you?
You tried to reach me, but you just can't help me. So long, goodbye. You tried to save me, it won't work this time. 'Cause now I've lost my fucking mind.
I always find it weird how this is also a little bit contradicting, which seems to be the concept of both of the things we're seeing here. This has nothing to do with that, but it's always a little contradicting to me in my experience when we get cursing, but sung or delivered or presented in a beautiful fashion. So have a singer like him on the piano delivering the word fucking like he just did. It kind of leaves this realm of this is profanity. it starts to get artistic, and even a mom that will slap a person that says fuck accidentally at dinner will appreciate that this isn't for the sake of cursing, right? I've lost my fucking mind. It takes away the evilness and the shadiness of the word because it is being presented in a very artistic context, right? Isn't that weird? It's the same word, but brought on completely different.
And there's no fucking time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here.
Trying to consume.
The dragon.
When he says trying to consume, does he mean get close to you or to her, kiss her, get physical? Consume? Because the drug in me, as in my system, I can't consume it anymore because it's already in there, right? There isn't a syringe of you that I can shoot up with. If I want to consume you, the target of my addiction, the person, my love, I will have to get close to you, be in your presence, touch you, talk to you. It doesn't even have to be sexual. But consuming the person you love is to be with them and to share moments with them. Would you agree? So he's trying to consume. But what's keeping him from it? Because he knows it's bad for him? Kind of like, I'm loving the wrong person, but I can't help it. I'm still addicted. I know she's bad for me. I know she's going to nothing but drag me down, but I just can't stop. It happens to the best of us, right? I can speak from experience. I've loved the wrong person big time. Paid for it. And yes, learned from it. But once that fucking lightning strikes you, it will probably happen again. Knowingly, you run into your own fucking misery. To stay in that picture, right? You can't help it. That's why it's love.
And me is you. And I'm so high on misery.
The way we visualize the target of his love, the source of his addiction here. Girl, blonde girl with a homecoming queen or princess crown little thingy, sporting a bouquet of red roses. I just had this weird thought, but no, it doesn't look like this is a wedding scene, because then it would all tie in. My desire, the person I am addicted to, my drug, yes, is a lady, and I can't consume because she's marrying someone else. And I was thinking this could be a visualization of the idea. It is unreturned and unreachable love that I'm addicted to because she belongs to another man. And I was thinking this picture adds to this idea, but no, it doesn't look like a I'm getting married pic, because why the diadem, why the gloves, why the red? I mean, it doesn't look like she's about to walk down the aisle. But that could have made sense in terms of why doesn't he just consume? Right? What's in the way? Could be the fact that she is taken.
Can't you
Holy shit! I'm so glad I stopped it like one beat before this thing here happened, and I got to talk about it with what I was trying to get off my chest before this fucking switch thing here, or the let's put it in overdrive now. I love them for doing this every goddamn time. They have at one point of their art completely out of left field surprised me. And I love it when an artist surprises you. This was totally uncalled for. I love it, but it was so uncalled for, and it adds to the experience of the artistic piece, the creative piece we are receiving here. It's great without it, yes, no doubt, but it just adds to my consumption, my consuming this piece of art, right? I love it. Not only because it's guitars, but because it's surprising, and I wasn't ready for it. And that's a good indicator of, yup, you did just right there, Mr. Radke. Holy shit, that came in hard. And I'm sorry if it clicks, but I've regulated it now.
Can't you
Two things I want to talk about: the fact that she's burning and the fact that things are burning, period. So I said I love the grading and how it adds to the atmosphere of the entire thing being sad and being lump in the throat and being depressing in general by tinting it blue in the grading. The addition of these flames here are, of course, bringing in little bits and pieces of the passion that love brings, right? Which is why fire. And when you try to symbolize warmth, that's why a thermometer is going to have blue and red. It's not like at one point when we created thermometers 200 years ago, somebody there wasn't a vote. So let's represent warmth with yellow, and let's represent cold with green. There wasn't a vote being taken. It's natural. It's something that I and conscience decision on, if you need to give a color to heat, what would it be? Red. It's not because we have learned it that it is to be that way. It is at the core of things. And if you spoke to an indigenous people, let's say Aborigines in Australia that have never had intense exchange and contact with more progressed civilizations, if you want, and ask them, if you were able to understand one another, what would you say? Which color does this cold river have, and which color does fire have? You will get red and blue. Period. I am getting at the fact that they are adding elements of passion and positive passion here. I was gonna say that, but now I'm thinking our bride or our drug is starting to burn herself. She's starting to catch fire. Look. Is this overcoming addiction? Are we erasing and wiping her from our brain, Ronnie? Kind of like this dumb saying of time heals all wounds. Fat. We get the fire audibly. Whoa. Is this actually the end? Yes, it seems like it. Let's see if there's more. No, there's not. Holy crap. Yes, that was an excellent choice, both Karen and I think Jane. Please forgive me if I have, computer stored you wrong, name-wise. Message remains the same. Thank you very much for suggesting this, and also to directly say, let's do first and second version of it in one big video. I think that was a very, very great suggestion and thinking too. So thanks a bunch for that. The songs themselves. First one is right up my alley in the style and genre of music. I loved it. It does have this little touch of cringe in the far back of your experiencing that when you do, when you do apply these thoughts of mine to the visual layer, meaning the video aspect of it, forces you to think a bit cringe because it's so, so far away from one another, what the song itself wants to say and bring across, and what the videography made it to be in the end result. But that was an intentional decision. I'm positive and certain of it. Whereas the second version, of course, is not so much my musical style, but I do very much appreciate the way they did it. And if I was having to make a choice, which one is it for the rest of your life? You can only have one. I think I would go with number 2, even though it's not my, like I said, my genre of music. But it was just excellently executed on all parts of singing, music production, videography, fire, quite literally fire. And yes, I enjoyed that even more. Could be just because it's now, further to the front because I just saw the second one. But both of the versions, and the fact that he takes up almost 10 years to reface and retackle a piece that he done almost 10 years ago, all hats off just to that thought. And to be like, all right, we're all different people now. Let's see where this goes today. And I love that concept. It's just fucking amazing. That's awesome. And it's falling in reverse. Second song here, we get this super surprising element in the music too. But Ronnie, let's just say Ronnie, because I'm starting to think that it's not so much a 4-piece band that we should address as such, as in, let's not forget the other musicians, but I think it is really Ronnie being the mastermind behind all this, and I'm just going to call it that from now on. This artistic approach of Ronnie towards his art it's enviable how serious he is with all the shit he touches. You don't have to love the end results of everything he does, but you can't deny the fact that he is a passionate artist on every level. Approach to the songwriting, approach to rapping, shouting, screaming, singing, all of which he does, to the production of the music, production of the videos, fucking fire videos that they do, and also to the ability of rolling this stuff out. Of course, epitaph behind it, but this is an MGM or Sony, like trillions and gazillions of promo money thrown every goddamn where. But a little more, not small time, but not top-notch gang behind them that, is all about just cash money. And I like that too. So that was very, very cool. Great experience to be doing this. Thanks again, Karen Taylor. And I think, Jane, let me double check on that. Did I close that tab? Yeah, I did. It doesn't. Oh, here it says we got it here too. Falling in reverse, drug and music, and seconded by Kate. I keep saying Jane, but no. Who we mean is Kate and Karen Taylor. Thank you guys in specific. Thank everybody of y'all that have endured this and stayed on this with me till the end. I would love for y'all to continue to drop suggestions. I've kind of closed the list a little bit so I can work it off. But if you want me to see something to react to and that you're passionate about, I'm not going to know about it unless you let me know. So please leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment, leave whatever form of constructive criticism you may have. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.